This is a teaching episode that is time sensitive. This is one of the times of the year where I get into the nitty-gritty details of employee benefits because it is open enrollment season. If you're not already familiar, open enrollment is the time where employers give you a PDF or a website or a packet that has details of all of your available employee benefits, and they ask you to make your elections for the upcoming year. And as you've heard me say many times, if you're a long-term listener, the three most underutilized benefits that I see are flex spending accounts, health spending accounts, and dependent flex spending accounts. But we're not going to spend this episode on all three. We're going to focus this episode on the flex spending account because in my experience, it is the one account that I have seen people most hesitant to sign up for when they have all three options at their disposal. And there's several reasons for that. When it comes to health savings accounts, there is a lot of hesitance in the fact that with the health savings account, you have to pair it with a high deductible health plan. And many people don't like or are afraid of the concept of a high deductible health plan. So we will get some questions about that. But if they understand and are comfortable with that plan, the actual health savings account element of it can be really attractive. You can put money aside that's pre-tax. If you don't use the money, it continues to grow in the market, can be used for eligible health expenses or after the age of 65 for whatever you want to. So there's a lot of attractive elements where once someone has keyed in on the concept, you don't have to do a lot of back and forth convincing them to do it. With a dependent flex spending account, it's the same. If you have an eligible child for a dependent flex spending account, there are some really expensive things that parents pay for young children, namely daycare expenses or summer camps that are eligible for dependent FSA use. And as a result, you just don't have to do a lot of pulling and tugging when you're trying to convince someone to sign up. But an FSA is something that I always have to encourage people to sign up for various reasons. It may be that they think that it's a use it or lose it plan, where if they don't use the money, all of it is going to revert back to the employer. It may be because of the accurate fact that when you choose an FSA contribution for the upcoming year, unless you've had a major life circumstance that makes you eligible to have that amount changed, you actually have to stick with that payroll deduction for the entire year. So some people will say, I don't want to overestimate what I can spend in that FSA, be wrong, and then all of a sudden I can't change it. And it's just coming out of my check every 2 weeks or every month. Very, very valid reason to be afraid of it. But the biggest reason that I see people hesitant about an FSA in my experience is complication. They don't understand how it works. They don't understand how they're going to be reimbursed. They don't understand for what it can be used. And as is the case with most complicated things in our life, when we already have a complex life, if we can't avoid it, we choose to do so. So I'm hoping that in this episode, I can give you a plan of action to utilize your FSA in a seamless way. And we're actually going to start with understanding what you can actually use an FSA for in the first place. Because if you can find a way to integrate FSA use into your life, it is an easy tax deduction that you can use to your benefit. In 2025, you can put up to $3,300 aside pre-tax to pay for FSA eligible expenses. And if you're a high income earner in a higher tax bracket, that can lead to some significant savings for things that you are already going to pay for. For example, if you're in the 24% marginal tax bracket and you were to max out your FSA contribution at $3,300, for things that you are already planning to pay for, you would save $792 in taxes. That's not an insignificant amount of money when you factor in the fact that these are things that are needed to manage your health.